It's one of my funnest times of the month again, where I get to collaborate with Greytide Studios and make an awesome Space Marine to paint up and show you guys. The last 2 months I've been focusing on adding extra bits into my Black Templars army. So we did a Vindicator, a Laser Destroyer tank. We added all the extra festoons of bits and pieces from their kits onto that. The week before, or the month before, we did a Chaplain on bike and we made him look like this awesome crusading knight with a big broadsword and a bucket helmet. Everything was awesome. But this month I decided to go back to their Crimson Lord set, which is parts that are compatible with Space Marine Blood Angels. I have used that stuff before, but only to make an awesome Blood Angels Dreadnought. I've never actually messed around with their infantry sized stuff. So I thought I would customize and make my own jump captain for my Blood Angels army for 11th edition. So that's what I'm going to aim to try and do in today's video. Before I get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that supports the channel by watching, liking, commenting, and making sure that you're subscribed to all 3 channels. That makes a huge difference. So thank you guys so much for that. And anyone who goes the extra mile and supports over on Patreon, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting me over there. Obviously that keeps the lights on, the cameras rolling. So to give back to you, we have a whole host of different extra things. You get extra videos, you get access to a podcast, access to a private Discord server, and we do monthly giveaways. This month we are giving away a Mechanicum Army box set. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning this box set shipped anywhere in the world at my expense, all you need to do is be signed up to Patreon at any tier. With that all out of the way, let's dive in and get this awesome Blood Angels Jump Captain built and painted. Okay, so it all started when I realized that I had a singular Assault Intercessor left on a sprue. All the other models from that kit had been used. And I thought to myself, what could I do with this? So legs and a torso. Obviously, I decided to 3D print all the extra parts that I was going to need to make this guy. I was kind of thinking originally a Sanguinary Guard, but then I thought maybe just an awesome Blood Angels Jump Captain, which of course would fit on a 40mm base. We'll get to use the awesome jump pack and wing sections, have access to an awesome spear, and it all just kind of fit together. Plus, I wasn't really too keen on doing a big golden model. I really wanted to do the beautiful red Blood Angels armor. So that's what really pushed me toward the making him a jump captain. I don't actually collect Blood Angels all that much. I have a Flesh Tearers army. That's how I use the Blood Angels Codex. So this miniature actually currently does not have an army that it's supposed to go to. So I'm not quite sure what to do with this miniature at the end. But I am very glad that I made him. And he turns out really nice, I think, in my humble opinion. As you can see, I 3D printed out a base topper as well, which came from the same set of parts from Greytide Studio. So if you want to check those out, I will of course link them down below. They're my manufacturer and stuff. And you can check out all the different sets they have, whether it's Dark Angels or Black Templars or Blood Angels or Space Wolves or Ultramarines or Legion of the Damned. Or they've so many different sets for so many different legions of Space Marines, and the parts are just incredible. They fit so well with the kits we already have. And it just gives you awesome results. So think about it. Once again, all I had with this one was legs and a torso. And from that, I was able to create this miniature. And I couldn't be happy with how it turned out. Adding in separate arms for the spear and obviously his wrist-mounted Stormbolter. I've added in a necklace with a couple of kind of runes and gems and stuff. Added on that awesome jump pack with wings. A veteran-style helmet, which will be painted up in the gold. And yeah, there we have it. I think we have an awesome Blood Angels Jump Captain. I got him sprayed gray. First I sprayed him black, then I sprayed him Grey Seer, which gave me the perfect base coat to start the painting process, just like I did with my Blood Angels videos the other day when I did the different busts. When I showed basic base coat and washing, I showed nice tabletop standard, and then I showed tabletop plus all in a single video. That obviously gave me a hankering to paint up something Blood Angels, and it's really why this video exists now. I just wanted to push myself a little bit further and see what an awesome Blood Angel captain was going to look like. So going by all the same steps that I used in that video, starting with Blood Angel's red contrast and applying that to all of the armor that is going to be red on this miniature. Obviously not going near those nice white wings, not going near his helmet because that's going to be gold. His shoulder pad is going to be gold, but most of the rest is going to be red. Black Templar was then brought in for all of the sections that are going to be black, obviously. So the soft sealed, his belt that goes around his waist. Eventually I decided to do the leather cord that goes across his neck now, holding up all those like gemstones in black. And then I'm sure there's a couple of other bits and pieces. You just have to kind of fish around the model and try and find them. From here, we have Volupus Pink. This is the color I always go to when I have like the handle of a weapon to paint. I'm not talking about bolters, but all like power swords and stuff like that. They kind of have this like pinky, purpley, leathery color. I stole it from Stormcast Eternals. They're the first models that I seen having that color for it. And it seems just sit next to red so well. It's a perfect color. So anytime I have a handle like that I need to paint, that's the color I go for. And like I said, I think it really works. Retributor Armor Gold was then brought in for base coating in all the gold sections. So obviously the veteran helmet that he's going to wear, his awesome fully designed shoulder pad. And then obviously there's quite a lot of bits and pieces on his awesome spear that need to go gold as well. With all that on, we just have to do the last bit, which is the lead belcher, which is some of the sections of the storm bolter mounted to his wrist, and obviously the spear tip as well. I think I just said wrist when I was meant to say wrist, but we won't notice that. There'll be no snide remarks in the comments, I promise you, right? But yeah, we're nearly there with the base coats, and then it's time to shade the entire miniature down. And when it comes to Blood Angels, I tend to find that just a nice black wash does a great job at shading everything down and pulling all those tones a little bit closer together and giving some really nice jumping off point to start the layering process. So that's what I'm going to do. Nuln Oil from head to toe. Even on those beautiful white wings, it'll shade in between them all really nicely. And then when I go in with those kind of whitey gray colors later on, it's going to highlight it up beautifully. But onto that armor that I was really excited to paint. The first kind of layering paint is Mephiston Red. And then we're going to apply this to all of the flat armor sections. Now this is about an 80% coverage, going back over all of the armor panels and basically painting in about 80% of it. The last 20% is where that Nuln Oiled shade has dried. All those deep recesses, all those crevices, all those bits you want to leave alone, leave nice and shaded, and just go for the other higher sections in that bright red. So when it gets something like a knee pad, you can see that there's still a black line going all the way around them. All those different sections of panels, there's a black line going between them. It's important to leave that behind. Jumping up to Evil Sun Scarlet, this is where we go up again, but this time we're only going about 60% coverage. So we're leaving kind of 20% to the black shade, 20% is going to be left to Mephiston Red, and then the Evil Sun Scarlet is going to go on the next. This will make everything, of course, pop. It'll pull the Blood Angels Red up to that kind of final, kind of almost like a, I don't know what kind of red it is, like a candy apple red, almost a little bit of an orange. Blood Angel's armor tends to be. And then the two edge highlights that we add in really add the last steps and make it look absolutely incredible. But they require a small bit of patience and a little bit of a steady hand to do. The two edge highlights can, of course, be ignored. Like I said in the video where I did the bus, if you wanted to just take it to tabletop standard, then this is where you would leave the armor right here. And I think it looks really nice, really clean, really sharp. Absolutely nothing wrong with deploying that model on a tabletop, pushing it around in anger and rolling some dice. But if you want to make it an extra little bit crispier, we're going to go with Wild Rider Red for the first edge highlight. And this is pretty much a 100% edge highlight. You want to go around all the edges and armor panels of this model and hit it with a a Wild Rider Red color around all the edges. All those sharp points, little bits of curves on the tops of the feet. This will, of course, add a lot of definition to the armor and just basically make it look really nice and make pop. It's just awesome looking. But it does take some time. I say for the entire edge highlight, this guy took maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Depends how quick you are and how steady your hand is. But obviously, the more you do it, the quicker you get. I personally think the result is worth the time, especially on a captain. But if you're going to go for like, you've got 30 infantry to paint, you would probably just take them to that mid-tone I was talking about. Now for the last edge highlight, we're going to go in with Tau Light Ochre and just aim for, this is only like 5 to 10% coverage. This is just all those really sharp edges. Anywhere there's corners on armor, stuff like that, you're just going to add in a very small touch of Tau Light Ochre. And this really does just elevate that red armor to the nth degree, and it looks super, super clean, super fresh, and super sharp. It's just a really nice technique, and it's the bit that I enjoy the most when you just add those kind of really sharp details on at the end, and the whole armor just transforms and it just looks amazing. Okay, with the red armor finished off and looking super sharp, it's time to turn to those angelic white wings. As you can see, they're looking a little bit worse for wear now. So we're just going to go in with two simple layers. We're going to go for Astra Gray. And as we're going to go in on all those flat sections of the wings and basically define each and every feather again, but leaving that black shade, separating the feathers in place, being a little bit careful with it. And you can see it makes a huge difference as you go down the wing, leaving that behind. It's not just going to be like a flat white wing. It's going to show off each and every individual feather very, very nicely. After that is then complete, it's time to make it pop even further. And that's where the Ulthuan Grey color comes in. Once again, it's still a gray, so it does a lot, it does like really good coverage, but it sells itself as white when there's no other white next to it to compare it to. So you can leave your highlight here at Ulthuan Grey and just, it looks great. And as you can see, I'm going in again on those flat sections of the feathers, but leaving that older grayer color behind, closer to where all the black shading is. With the wings looking nice and sharp, it's time to move on to Liberator Gold and very quickly layer up that head, that awesome shoulder pad, and then the other bits and pieces on the spear. There's obviously some angelic details coming off of those kind of back fins on the jump pack as well, and a few other details. So make sure you go around, find all those gold sections and add a little Liberator Gold to shiny it up a bit and make it look nice. After this, time to move on to those gemstones. So a little bit of warp stone glow over the gemstones. And then we just go in with a little bit of moot green. And we basically do a small crescent moon shape over the gemstones, which is just a very simple technique inside the previous green that we've done. It really makes it pop. This is the same color I use for Blood Angel's eye lenses and stuff. So this is almost like a little accent color that will play across the entire army. If you have tanks that have like windows and stuff, they'll be done in the same green. Just help it all blend together. And then White Scar is added as just a little bit of reflection. So a little dot of white in the top left corner of all the gemstones as well. Kind of the opposite color to where the crescent moon would be. And obviously it makes it look really, really nice. And the last tip is just a little bit of pink horror to highlight up the nice pink leather that we have for that awesome spear. As you can see, I'm just going with the design and doing a very crisp highlight. Nothing crazy. You don't need to go up another color or anything like that. It's not a focal point of the model. It's not something people will be inspecting a lot. And with that done, we have our finished Blood Angels Jump Captain using a simple Assault Intercessor body, and then converted quite heavily with all the extra Greytide Studio bits. I think he looks absolutely brilliant. I'm super pleased with the final result. Hopefully you guys are as well. The last slide will be this next to a standard Marine, so you can see scales. You can see this guy does indeed stand out as a captain. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end. I'll see you in the next one.